Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jeff Lax. I'm the president of the State Board of Colorado Mountain Club, and it's just wonderful to have all of you new members and existing members join us tonight. Claire and Mary are going to do a wonderful job taking you through all about the Mountain Club and all about the Denver group and all that we have to offer. So welcome and take it away, Claire.
Awesome. Well, Mary, whenever you are ready, we will get tonight started. Mary Bradley is my right-hand lady in the office, in the front office. So once our front office gets opened back up to the public, we will be the friendly faces you see when you come in to visit us. So Mary, go ahead and get things started.
All right. Thank you so much, Claire. And thank you, Jeff. Again, Jeff Flex. He is a volunteer, but I think we really should be paying him. He does so much work on behalf of the Colorado Mountain Club and for the Colorado Mountain Club. And as he mentioned, he is now our board president of Colorado Mountain Club. Very deserving honor to him as he's put in so much time with Colorado Mountain Club. Claire, well, she's my coworker, but she's also a really good friend, and I can't say enough good things about Claire, all the work that she does. If you have issues, her email is clairejoseph@cmc.org. I'm Mary Bradley at cmc.org. I came on board as a volunteer in 2015, and at the start of 2017, they came to me and said, well, we don't want you to volunteer anymore. And I said, oh, no, I'm doing that bad of a job. And they said, no, we want you to come on board. What happened was Colorado Mountain Club was growing rapidly. All of us love to be outside, hiking, mountain biking, summiting 14ers, fly fishing, taking photos, everything that this club does so beautifully. So they said, you know what? Our Denver group is growing so much. We need someone that's going to specialize in the Denver group. So here it is. So that became me. So in my signatory line, when I send you back an email, you'll see Denver Group Liaison. What that means is that I work on behalf of everybody for the Denver group and report all of that back to the state or coordinate with the state. So again, welcome everybody. We're very, very glad to have you here with us tonight. I saw a lot of people signing up that were checking us out. And then we had some new members that were coming on board tonight to just find out what Colorado Mountain Club was all about. So again, welcome. Down at the bottom of your screen, you see the reactions. You see that you can clap, you can do the thumbs up, you can do a heart. So just to see for everybody with the chat function, go ahead and if you are a new member to the club, put in a thumbs up, just so we can see. If you are thinking about checking us out, maybe put in a heart or something like that so that we can see who all is just thinking about checking us out. Well, welcome. We're very glad to have you. And we hope that the new members, that this will be something that's fun for you and a rewarding experience for you to do. All right, so Colorado Mountain Club, who are we? What are we? Well, we came into existence in 1912. We have been Colorado's leading organization since about that time, 1912. So as you can tell, we are going on 109 years now. You see the picture there on the screen in front of you. That was our very first outing, and we summited a rock in Cheeseman Park. So that was the very first outing. You look at the pictures and the ladies in the bonnets and all the skirts, I'm like, oh man, I can't imagine getting up on that rock. But they did, and they were very proud to do so and enjoyed that outing. Since then, obviously we've expanded a little bit. We're doing 13ers, we're doing 14ers, we're doing, anything and everything. We're doing it safely and with conservation in mind. We leave no trace. We are very, very respective of our Mother Earth and the land that we are on, and very thankful that it's there for us to enjoy. And we ask all of you, whether you join the club or not, that you participate in that too, that you're very careful with this wonderful earth of ours. So again, 1912 was when we started. So we are now at almost 7,600 members. The slide that you see in front of you has been a little bit delayed. So we are over 7,600 members now. We are almost 10 groups. We have a group that we are looking at getting out and unfolding, but we are working on it yet. So thousands of adventures to do with like-minded people, whether you like to hike, whether it's just a leisurely hike, or you decide that you want to do Mount Bierstadt in maybe 2 hours, which that's a tremendous hike. There's all sorts of things for us to do. We have winter sports. We do backcountry skiing. We do avalanche training, which has gotten to be very important here in Colorado with our winters, where we are having a lot more avalanches occur and having to be very careful where we are. But all sorts of different adventures for you to do. Trained volunteer trip leaders and experienced co-hikers. We don't take going out into the wilderness lightly. We want to go out and have a good time. We want to enjoy. We want to take pictures. We want to just enjoy the beautiful scenery that we're doing or seeing and going through, whether it's to do backcountry skiing, whether it's avalanche training, whether it's hiking, as you see in the picture. We want trained volunteer trip leaders. So to that end, our trip leaders will go through trip leader school. They have to be certified in wilderness first aid. We ask them to take CPR and AED also, which is defibrillator training. So we don't take being out in the wilderness lightly, as we ask that you don't either. Yes, it's a wonderful place to be, but if you turn an ankle and suddenly have a broken ankle, that beautiful scenery that's around you takes on a very different feeling when you're trying to exit out of the wilderness with a broken ankle. So our volunteer trip leaders, are very, very experienced, and that's the way we want it. Most of your co-hikers, not everyone, don't be intimidated by seeing that they're experienced co-hikers. A lot of people join going, Mary, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even feel like I can hike over to get a soda at the little A&W. I can't do that. So how am I supposed to hike outside? Don't be intimidated by that. We have all sorts of levels of hiking. One of the things that we do very well is we have new member hikes where we will ask you to sign up for a hike. Our trip leaders will take you out, usually up around Golden, on some gentle trails to get you started. They will work with you and talk with you with what is appropriate clothing, sunscreen, should I have a backpack on, should I learn to use a compass, which is actually a really good idea versus depending on your cell phone. But the new member hikes are very, very helpful in that regard. So at some point in time, you'll end up being the experienced co-hiker, and you'll be helping somebody else that's on a hike with you also. Jeff is our Zoom guru tonight for us, so he's actually advancing our screens here for us as we go, which I really appreciate that. Thanks, Jeff. Schools and courses. Well, yes, we're all about recreation. We educate, and we're about conservation too. So the education part of it, schools and courses. Well, as you can see, this is a summer course, obviously. Summer course. Hello. This is not a summer course. You would think I would have learned to talk by all this time on the earth. This is one of our winter courses. They're learning to look at snow depths to see what is appropriate. Is it possible that it's going to be avalanche prone? And those are some of the classes that we offer, along with a lot of other different courses. And we're going to go into some of that right here in a few seconds. Then along with our courses, our education, along with that, part of the recreation. We are bringing out our adventure travel program here again shortly. We had taken a couple years break on it. Obviously in 2020, we had to take an enforced COVID break and we weren't able to get out and adventure travel and do stuff. But that program will be starting back underway. It is one of our most popular programs. We have trips all over the world, including anything from as gentle as maybe you're walking along the banks of the Thames in England, or going up to Scotland and doing some hiking there, up to some more adventuresome ones that you float the Grand Canyon with a group of people. Maybe you go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So our adventure travel program is a lot of fun. We get a lot of great feedback. You can see from the pictures here some of the rafting and canoeing, obviously some of the high rock climbing that they're doing, and then as well as getting to see all sorts of beautiful points in the world. So, as I mentioned earlier, protecting the mountains that we love. Our conservation team, they're very important to us. We treat them with kid gloves because we love them so much, because look at what they're doing. They're helping keeping and improving that trail. They're helping to keep things to a point where the conservation is such that you're staying on the trail versus getting off into those beautiful wildflowers. And I would ask you personally, please, please always stick to that. We want to keep Colorado looking as beautiful as Colorado is. So our conservation team, a lot of them are volunteers. So if that's something that really appeals to you, believe me, we could use your help. Our conservation team is very important to us. Give back through volunteering. We love volunteers. When I came on board in 2015 as a volunteer, it became very evident very quickly that I was a very loved person. Volunteering is something that is so important within the club. As I told you earlier, Jeff Flax is a volunteer, a longtime volunteer. He's our board president now. We have volunteers that serve throughout Colorado Mountain Club in different sections, different groups, helping out in whatever way they can. We have all sorts of different opportunities. You can check with me, you can email me, you can email Claire. We can get you into some volunteer opportunities. We love having you here. What's some of the benefits of Colorado Mountain Club? Well, besides getting a chance to meet new friends, make new friends, getting out, enjoying the outdoors, getting some exercise, doing something that maybe at first you weren't sure you were going to love, but you turn into a great outdoors person, a great love of hiking. Maybe you decide that rock climbing is really something that you want to do. I have one friend in the club that she started out just doing some light hiking as she was watching some of the rock climbers as we went by that they were doing. She's like, oh, I could never do that. Well, guess what she does now? She rock climbs, and it's become one of her favorite pastimes and hobbies to do. So within Colorado Mountain Club, what are some of the benefits you're going to get? Well, you have a 20% discount on CMC Press. What's that mean? Well, we'll see in a little bit. We have over 65 books, 65 titles on outdoor hiking, Colorado Trail. We have all sorts of different books that are available for purchase. Believe me, I have my share here at home. I have one that I use when I'm over in Arches over in Utah. One of my favorite ones is Wildflower Hikes on the Front Range. Last summer, I got the chance to go to Butler Gulch, which is up by Empire. Hit it at just the right time, and I felt like I had walked into Wizard of Oz movie, except for poppies. The field was covered by beautiful Colorado columbines. So our CMC Press, those books are available, and as a Colorado Mountain Club member, you are entitled to that 20% discount. Discounts on outdoor gear. Well, usually what happens is you get into a certain passion within outdoors, hiking, rock climbing, whatever it ends up being, and you end up wanting to have gear that goes with that particular sport that you are taking up. You're going to have discounts that are available at different outdoor gear brands or different stores. The third one down, the bullet up in Golden, Bent Gate is a mountain retailer right on the main street of Golden. They offer a discount to Colorado Mountain Club members. And we have other locations that during the winter will rent backcountry skis, cross-country skis, snowshoes at discounts to Colorado Mountain Clubs. Special member pricing for schools, courses, and trips. A lot of our courses or schools, as they post out on our calendar, and we'll talk about our calendar here in a few minutes, how to look at that and how to decipher it and how to read it. But there'll be special member pricing for you as a Colorado Mountain Club member to go on those trips or those courses or the schools. As I mentioned earlier, the adventure travel program. Usually those trips will fill up with Colorado Mountain Club members immediately, so they're not even open to non-members. But on the off chance that there is an opening, a non-member, usually you'll pay anywhere from $400 to $500 more than if you are a Colorado Mountain Club member. Special member pricing for our youth adventure courses. We call that YEP. As you come on board with CMC, you'll see that we love to use acronyms. I spent my first month as a volunteer trying to figure out all the acronyms, but eventually you do get to the point where you understand them all. So there are special member pricing for our youth adventure courses also. Lodging discounts throughout Colorado. All you have to do is let them know that you're a member of Colorado Mountain Club, and they may ask you your member number, and we provide that for you, and then you get special discounts. Brainerd Cabin and Arista Cabin, which are up by Boulder, outside of Boulder, there are special discounts there. Member pricing and tickets to our special events. One of our biggest events that we weren't able to hold since the start of 2020, we were very lucky with Banff. We actually got to hold it in the first part of February of 2020. It's a wonderful event. It's down at the Paramount Theater in downtown Denver. It's the Banff Film Festival. It comes in from Banff, is where it originates from. And there's 3 nights of wonderful short films that they cover all sorts of different topics, outdoor related, human interest. It's a wonderful time. As a member, you have special discount pricing on your tickets. Our Backcountry Film Festival, that was by virtual this last year, 2020. Obviously, with things opening up in 2021, we're hoping that we can bring that back live again, as well as Mountain Fest. We are looking at a possible fall date for that. It's a wonderful event. It's 2 days. We usually hold it in the parking lot in Golden at our Mountaineering Center. We have vendors that come in that have special different equipment that you can try and look at and just figure out what you might want to do. They also have courses, short courses that they offer, and all sorts of different things, and all sorts of different other options too. And there we are, CMC Press. Well, these are just a few of our titles. Rocky Mountain Wildflowers that you see over there, that's a really nice one. I love that one. Then over there on the right, the Best Front Range Hikes. That's also a good one. If you don't feel like you want to fight traffic on I-70 for an hour or more, maybe on the weekend, that's a great book to see what hikes are available right here in the Front Range or the Denver area. Snowshoe routes. Again, you'd think I could talk. That was a very popular one this last winter. I actually had a few friends that purchased the book and called me back and said, "This is wonderful. I've been out snowshoeing more this winter than I ever have in my life, just with looking at the different trails and descriptions within this book. Colorado Trail, the one that you see over on the left side, many of you probably know, or maybe you don't know, that we have a trail that goes diagonally from Denver all the way down to Durango. Some people are hardy enough that they will take on the whole trail at once. It's almost 496 miles, so that's quite a bit of trail and hiking to do. A lot of people do it in sections. Well, the Colorado Trail book gives you a mile-by-mile breakdown and description of what you're going to see, what kind of terrain. Is it steep? Is it rocky? Points where you can find water and then use your water kits to have drinkable water. Where are good places to pitch a tent? How close are you to a town where maybe you've had some provisions or clothing sent forward to a post office box and you can go pick it up? The books are wonderful. Like I said, one of my favorites is a book about the Arches National Park over in Utah, as well as some of these. The Front Range Wildflower Hikes is one of my favorites too. So lots of great books to go through. Outdoor recreation. Well, we're about education, conservation, and recreation. Outdoor recreation, as I was mentioning before, all sorts of things to do. Are you a winter person? Do you love winter sports? Do you love outdoor summer sports? Well, we pretty much have anything for everybody. And if you're one of those people like me that loves all year round being outdoor, then we have that too. As you can see here, we have 3 people that are on snowshoes heading into a beautiful area to enjoy the outdoors. It's a sunny day. Yes, it's cold, but once you get out there with that sun and you're moving, you actually get pretty warm. So it's a lot of fun. Plus being out in the trees and the snow like that, again, you're being very careful about if you're in avalanche terrain. Being out like that is very beautiful and very enjoyable. It's very peaceful and very zen-like. It's one of my favorite things. Specialty sections. Well, we have several of those, as you can see right there. A lot of people say, well, you know what? I love that I'm with the Colorado Mountain Club, but, you know, I really was wanting to do some photography maybe. Or, you know, I saw that you have a fly fishing section, and I'd really like to get into that. Trailblazers, as you see down below, for our 21 to 40-year-olds. Rocky Mountain Over the Hill gang, and we're not over the hill, guys. We are going over the hill. We see that next hill ahead of us, and we're gung-ho to hit that hill and climb that, and all the hills ahead of that, too. High Peaks, it's a new section that we've introduced. It's one that we have people that want to hit the 13ers and the 14ers and do hiking with those specifically. As you can see, the Colorado Wilderness Families, that's going to be a group that's coming soon. We've had a lot of requests for people saying, you know, I love being with the club. I love going out with my friends. I love going out with my spouse. But we have some young children that really we'd love to have them hiking and stuff too. So that's a good group too. You see down at the bottom, Bobcats. That's a group that they go out during the weekdays. So if you're someone that perhaps can devote maybe a day during the week, this might be a good group. As we all know, and we're painfully aware of, Colorado is being very well loved. So a lot of times on the weekends, it's a little bit harder to get places. So Bobcats during the week is a great way to go. Photography section, one of our really good sections that I absolutely love, mainly because I never realized you could take such wonderful pictures with a Samsung or an iPhone. They made that very, very clear, and we have pictures displayed throughout the Mountaineering Center from our photography section that were taken with just their phones, and absolutely stunning pictures. Backpacking section, that's a section that's newer. It's about 2 years old now, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in just a second. So we'll move forward here.
Hey, Mary, this is Jeff. I'm gonna stop for 1 second. Zoom decided we'd like two little squiggly red lines at the top, so I'm gonna stop screen sharing. and see if we can get that back without squiggly lines.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Again,
tell
Jeff
me.
is our Zoom guru, so there we go. So whatever Jeff wants to do with Zoom, because he's the guru, what Jeff says, Jeff gets to do. There we go. There's our Rocky Mountain Over the Hill gang. They've summited one of their mountains and are there for a joint picture. That one, we do ask that you are 50 years or more mature, and a lot of them will be weekday trips. They're happening during the week, and so it's a little bit easier for everybody to be involved with getting out there during the week and stuff. So sorry, everybody, I'm sitting here trying to figure out. There we go. Okay. Bear with me there just a second. I have a private signal to Jeff to let him know to advance the picture there for me, the PowerPoint presentation, so I had to find him again. So apologize there. I can't walk and talk and click on the screen apparently anymore. Those days seem to be past. Bobcats, great group. There we go. There they are. See how fast they are? They just went right out there in the wilderness and they were gone. Again, they meet during the week. They're going to be a little bit more challenging, the Rocky Mountain Over the Hill gang. A lot of trailblazers join the Bobcats. Usually they always are doing their stuff during the week. So again, if you happen to be somebody that has some time during the week, highly recommend getting out with that group. It's a free group, free section, and it's open to everyone. Trailblazers. Well, as it says there, 21 to 40. They look like they have a lot of energy, don't they? I'd like to borrow some of their energy. I don't have quite as much energy as they do these days, but they tend to do a lot of activities that are involving summiting, mountain biking, hiking, a little bit more vigorous than maybe some people are able to do. They will welcome anyone, but usually the age group that you'll see within there is around 21 to 40. A lot of times they'll have a social event wrapped around it. So on our calendar, you'll see Trailblazers hike. They're going to summit North Table Mountain or South Table Mountain, and then they're going to stop for a beer afterwards. So a lot of times you'll see some social events with them. A lot of interest in that group, and we have a lot of participants in the Trailblazer group. Backpacking. A lot of people hike. Sorry, I was grabbing a little bit of drink of water there. A lot of people love to hike, but we've also had people say, I love to hike, but you know what? I really want to get out in the backcountry and actually do some backpacking too. So backpacking section was born about 18 months ago and has turned into one of our most popular sections. At one point, we had over 1,600 members in it. People that then suddenly realized that they weren't able to devote 2 to 3 days to being out and backpacking out in the wilderness, kind of said, you know what, I guess I'll go back to the day hiking. So right now, our section group, we are at about 1,500 members in that group. We have a lot of trips that are going to go out this summer. They're getting ready to unfold a gear check kind of event, they are calling it, that will be down at Cherry Creek Reservoir. And literally, it is what it says it is, gear check. Bring your tents, bring your roll that you see there, bring your backpack. There'll be people there that are experts to tell you, is this a good product that you're using? How do I use it best? How do I pitch my tent? It's going to be a really good event. As far as the trips that are being posted, there'll be everything from an overnight backpack trip up to, we have one that's going to go up to the Flat Tops Wilderness over in northwest Colorado, and that will be about a 3 to 4 day backpacking trip. So again, everything from light levels up to some serious backpacking. That section comes with a $20 annual fee. You do receive the newsletter, and then you receive early notices of trips and presentations. Fly fishing, another popular section. Last year, 2020, with COVID, as we all know, it really changed things up for us. This year, they're kind of getting things underway. Usually, fly fishing, they start up in March. Back, as we know, in March, we were still kind of going, well, are we kind of moving out of COVID? Are we staying in COVID? Kind of where are we? What's going to be our protocol? So some of their programs have been delayed and canceled, but the fly fishing section is actually a lot of fun. And as you see, they have the fly fishing trips in some of the clinics. So it's another fun section to be in too. Photo section, Denver group photo section. These are actual pictures that were taken by phones. One's a Samsung, one's an iPhone. Very beautiful pictures. It's a fun section. It has a $20 annual fee with it. They meet once a month there at the Mountaineering Center in Golden. All skill levels from beginners to professionals. There is a lot of training, a lot of lectures where they have guests come in that talk about different cameras, different skills, photo hikes, and social events. It's a wonderful section, and we have a lot of people that love that section too. Check out the calendar. As I told you earlier, all of our events and classes are put out onto our CMC calendar. When you access our main front page, which is cmc.org, up at the top, you see a blue bar that runs across the page, and the third tab in will be calendar. Once you click on that, you're able then to start exploring some of the different activities that we have. Over 3,000 adventures each year. Trips. We have out on the calendar everything from easy day hikes, where they tell you right in there, the trip leader will say, we plan to be out 2 to 3 hours. We plan to be out 6 or 7 hours. Plan accordingly. So they will have descriptions in there. So it's going to be everything from an easy day hike up to snowshoe trips and exposed terrain and peak climbs. They are very good in their event description, the trip leaders are, by putting in a lot of detail. That this is a strenuous hike. You're going to gain 2,500 feet in elevation. We recommend that you bring a lot of snacks with you because you're going to be expending a lot of energy. Or this is an easy hike. We're going to hike along the Platte River and stop to take some pictures, and we'll stop for a sack lunch, so make sure you bring your lunch. So again, a lot of wonderful descriptions that help you decide if this is something appropriate to you. Something else that you're going to take a look at in the descriptions of those events and those hikes or those mountain bike rides or climbing one of the peaks is what they call hike classifications. Denver Group especially utilizes this classification. I think it's very helpful because they're in there, right, in the description of that trip. They are going to tell you that this is a C hike. So if you look down there, a C hike, well, we could possibly be going up to 15 miles round trip and or gaining up to 3,500 feet in elevation gain. Well, is that something that you think you're up to? Well, if you think you're an A hiker, you might want to contact the trip leader, and they're very good about putting in their email information and their contact information, their phone. You might want to have a conversation with that trip leader. They may say, well, gosh, Mary, you know what? It sounds like you really are a C classification hiker. So yes, this is probably a hike that I think you should come on. Or based on me saying, you know, I'm winded when I walk around the block, they're going to probably gently say, you know what, Mary, maybe an A hike is more appropriate to you, that you could go up to 8 miles round trip or gain that foot elevation. So that's something, as you're looking at the course and the trip description, that you want to take a really close look at the event description and the trip to say, you know what, this says this is D. There's technical elements involved. For instance, Long's Peak, this is not a hike for me. Good thing to remember about that is, number one, you're not on an inappropriate hike, but also, two, you aren't then feeling bad because you are slowing other people down that really did belong on that D hike and are wanting to go on that D hike. Here's the calendar. So I apologize, our PowerPoint slides are a little bit outdated. So as you can see, January 2020 has come and gone. It was still a good month as far as we knew. Little did we know that a couple months later, by the middle of March, that COVID was going to be a word that was in almost every sentence of every conversation that we were having, and that was going to stay with us through almost all of 2020. I feel very grateful that so many of us are healthy and doing okay, and I hope those of you that have been affected by COVID are recovering, or my sympathies go out for everyone that's been very badly affected by the COVID. Anyway, getting back to this is our calendar. As you can see up there at the top, across the top, where you see about, join, calendar, those all have the drop arrows. So as you hover over that particular part of the tab, you hover over calendar, it's going to have a drop down that will let you go into different places, classes and courses that will let you see different options. Right now, we are looking strictly at the calendar. What we are looking at now, the view that you're seeing on your screen, is the typical classic calendar. So down toward the bottom, we don't see it. It's down kind of at the bottom of our screen, but you will see the entire calendar listed there. You can click into each day. They will have the different events and courses that are going on within that day. You can click on that particular item. Say you say January 1, 2020, that Wednesday. It says there's a new member hike. I really want to go on it. You can click into that and see what it's all about. Excuse me there, catching my throat. That was the calendar view. Jeff has clicked over for us too on the other one now. You see over here on the right side the little calendar that it looks like. It says calendar view. What we were looking at before said list view. And so that now is the one that Jeff has clicked on and has taken us into. It literally is a list view. It lists by date. As you can see over there on the right side, it says there on January 21st of 2020, there's a BPX trip rollout to the leaders. So that is going to be one that's for the leaders to get together to decide which trips they want to lead for the backpacking section for that year. Over there on the right, available tickets, it's letting you know that at that point in time when you were looking at this on the calendar, that there were 3 open spots on that. Ski tour, the one that you see right underneath it, full join wait list. What that is telling you is that that particular event already has the maximum number of people that can go on that. But we encourage you to join the wait list. As we all know, our plans change in life. We have different responsibilities. So something you signed up for, you may not be able to go on, so you cancel. If you were on that wait list, you receive a notification that you have come up, you are the next person in the list, and you are able to join that particular event if you'd like. So you clicked on that particular event that you were interested in. In this case, you clicked on Friday, January 24th, 2020. It was the Denver group. It was a new member hike. You clicked on that, and it's now brought you into the trip details. So what are you looking at? Well, it's telling you that it's a new member hike. It's going through Roxborough Park. You're going to see some overlook trails. Your start time is 8:30. here at the club, we try to stick to that. We all know we all are busy people. We have schedules. So if it says start time is 8:30 or whatever time it says, we ask that everybody honor that and be considerate of everybody else. Who's your leader? It says it's Karen Hurley, and your co-leader is Mike. It's free. It says that there are 4 available tickets or 4 available participants. What is it? It's a trip. Are you hiking? Your pace is moderate. It's an easy A. And remember back at that classification table that we looked at, A was our easier hikes. This is saying that this is an easy A. So again, it's a new member hike. We don't want to intimidate you by saying, well, guess what, guys? We're going to go out and climb Mount Evans today. We want you to kind of ease into this, enjoy, and be able to say, hey, this is something I really want to do. It says you're going to do trail mileage of 5 miles. You're going to gain 985 feet. Your driving distance is 5 miles. They usually measure the miles from the parking lot at Mountaineering Center in Golden, and they use that as their measurement to tell you how many miles you're going to be driving or carpooling. On some of the trips that go out further, hiking, skiing, whatever, you can see driving distance maybe 90 miles or something like that. So you might see a little bit different description. Then down at the bottom, the trip details, you can see down there it says location. You will see some of the details, including you will see the leader and the co-leader, their contact information, their email addresses, so that you can get in contact with them if you have questions for them. This is where you're going to sign up. You see at the top, guest registration. Well, if you are not a member of the club, we welcome you on any of our events where it says there can be a guest. We do try to adhere to that our Colorado Mountain Club members will go first. But if we do have room and the leaders are able to, sometimes they are able to take guests. If you're a member, you can see up there, it asks you to log in first. You'll put your information in here so that the trip leader knows who you are, has a way to contact you, and have you out there on their roster. Helpful trip tips. This one's a really important one. The 7 principles of leave no trace. Again, as I told you, Colorado Mountain Club, we are about conservation. We take Mother Earth, Mother Nature very serious because it's a wonderful place to be. We don't want to see it ruined. So leaving no trash. Dispose of your waste properly. Leave what you find. Those beautiful wildflowers are so beautiful. But if you and 20 other people have picked most of the columbines up in Butler Gulch, somebody else that's coming behind you, including me, wanting to come see those beautiful columbines, may not be able to see much of anything. So respect Mother Nature. Respect wildlife. We all hear the stories of people that wanted to go up and pet the moose. It's like, seriously? Really? Come on. They're wild. They're out there. They're in their home. Do you want somebody coming into your home and trying to pet your head? Well, no. That's a little bit of a drastic example, but come on. Leave the wildlife alone. Enjoy them from a distance. They are out there in their natural habitat. Minimize campfire impacts. Well, as we all know, painfully so, this last summer it was very, very apparent that we had terrible forest fires here on the eastern slope as well as the western slope. So do your part to make sure that there are no campfire impacts that are going to affect the forests or that we are ending up with fires. Be considerate of other visitors. How many times have you ever been out on the trail and you've seen somebody walking towards you with a boombox? I wish I could say that I've never seen that, but last summer, actually, before the fires got really bad, I unfortunately encountered 3 people walking with boom boxes. Well, boom boxes were something that were around in the 90s, so I'm like, how did you come up with that? But also, too, we were out in these beautiful natural areas with the wonderful pine trees and the smell of the pine and the sun, and you could smell the pine, you know, when it gets hot like that. It just has such a wonderful smell. I was hearing birds, and then all of a sudden, around the corner, here comes a guy lugging a huge boom box. Pretty much ruined it. Plan ahead and prepare. As we all know, this is Colorado. All you have to do is look out the window right now. There is snow, there's rain, and probably within 48 hours, we're going to be back to having sunny Colorado. Well, that's all true in the mountains, too. You can encounter any type of weather, and you can encounter it within a half hour of each other, or even quicker. One of my most harrowing adventures I've ever had was a wonderful hike over in the Maroon Bells. I was with my sister and brother-in-law. It was a beautiful sunny day in the summer. We'd hiked up over one of the saddles up to near one of the lakes. Beautiful columbine everywhere, not a cloud in the sky. And within a half hour, we were cowering in dirt because you don't want to get into the boulders and you certainly don't want to get into the trees. And we were cowering, laying as low as we could with lightning all around us. So it's Colorado. You have to expect that it's going to happen. Leave no trace. Again, make sure that what you pack in, you take back out. Be respectful of your co-hikers and your leader. Leave no man behind. That is one of our biggest things that we adhere to. You stay together. You don't leave somebody out in the wilderness. Expect that the trip may go longer. Again, the trip leaders are really good in their descriptions. Expect to be gone for 5 to 6 hours. Sometimes that goes longer because sometimes you're having a really good time. You stop to take some photographs. Maybe you guys linger over lunch a little bit more on the logs. You're sitting around talking, getting acquainted, and you realize that this is a group that you're having a lot of fun with. So maybe instead of a 6-hour trip, it's now turned into a 7.5-hour trip because you had a good time. As we all know, on I-70, the traffic can be such that maybe what you thought was going to be a 45-minute drive turns into an hour and a half. Who knows? Use the wait list. Don't double book, though, but do feel free to use the wait list and take advantage of maybe possibly getting onto a trip. Cancel if you can't attend. Make sure that you have gotten yourself off that list so somebody else that is on the wait list gets a chance to go. Online, you can just simply go in and cancel out of the event, or you can notify the leader. One important, really, really nice thing that I love, everybody says, well, I joined with the Denver group, so that means I can't do anything over on the western slope. Our Roaring Fork section that is over by Glenwood Springs and down through Aspen. Maybe they just posted that they were going to do a bike ride, a street bike ride instead of mountain bike, but they were going to do cycling from Glenwood Springs and they were going to go up toward Aspen and they were going to stop for lunch, packing their lunch, and they were going to stop by the Crystal River and have lunch at a wonderful place. Like, I'm going to be over there. I want to go, but I'm with the Denver group. Don't worry about it. Sign up. You are Colorado Mountain Club. That means you are a member of any group and any section throughout the state of Colorado. We love having you there. Our youth education program. Well, we're transitioning a little bit on that right now. We've paused it for summer 2021 because we're looking at trying to make this group bigger and better. And it is a very important group, so that's very important to us. It's also another one of our acronyms. You'll hear me say, yep, and I'm not agreeing to anything. I'm just using the acronym for Youth Education Program. Very important. We have a lot of groups that participate with it. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Denver do a lot with them. We are optimistic that we are going to expand down into the Colorado Springs area. So we're working on bringing our youth education program into Colorado Springs at some point in time too. This is a wonderful area for a lot of people that like to volunteer also. Maybe you're a school teacher, or maybe you work with kids and you like the outdoors. We have a lot of people that come on board to volunteer with the youth education program. Again, we are under construction. We have some wonderful plans for youth education, so we will be getting that rolling out maybe this fall or definitely into 2022. Wilderness Trekking School. This tends to be one of our most popular schools. It is one of the basics that once you have graduated from it, that you can go on to some of our technical schools. Maybe you decide that you want to start rock climbing. Maybe you decide that you want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It sounds like I'm joking about that, but I'm actually not. We have people that do go out and do that, or maybe go on to do some mountain summiting up in Alaska, some of the more technical stuff. Wilderness Trekking School is kind of the jumping off point, if you will, to get you started and get you very, very skilled at being out in the outdoors and recognizing what you are doing and how you are doing it. It is a popular school that we have offered twice a year. The spring session is actually underway right now. Our fall session will be opening up in September. Usually they post it out on the calendar about a month before the start of the school. They have 100 people that they will enroll in the class. That sounds like a lot, and yes, it is, but they also have enough instructors that once you are not in one of your general classes, you are put out into groups where you're with about 10 other people with an instructor, so you get a chance to have a lot more one-on-one. The classes themselves where you're with other people, very informative, a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot of different wonderful stuff. As you can see at the top, they talk about gear, very important. You see the picture of the lady there. She's got her hiking boots on and her backpack. Well, I'm the first person to tell you that if you have very ill-fitting boots, you're not going to be enjoying that hike, and all you're going to be doing is looking at the blisters and wanting to get back down. Do you have a bad backpack? Something that is just driving your shoulders crazy? Well, they're going to help you figure out what's best for you and how best to outfit yourself so that you're comfortable, but you also have the proper equipment with you. Map and compass skills. They are very, very big proponents of map and compass. I have so many people say, I don't need that. I have the GPS on my cell phone. Well, I hope you never have to painfully find out that usually GPS on a cell phone doesn't work when you're up in some of the canyons and the high peaks of the mountains and you end up being lost. Map and compass is actually something that is very important, and I hope it never happens, but at some point in time, it could save your life. Weather. Chris Spears from Channel 4 comes in and does a presentation on looking and recognizing what you're looking at as far as the clouds, what weather might come up. As I illustrated before, you can have a perfectly sunny day and within a half hour be fearing for your life with all the lightning and stuff around. Unexpected night or emergency in the backcountry. You hope it never happens, but believe me, it certainly can. Did you have somebody in your party that sprained an ankle really bad, or actually broke an ankle, or broke a leg? Or was there some really bad storm such that you had to hunker down and now you're going to have to overnight? Well, they're going to help you learn how to do that and how to prepare for that. Snow travel and avalanche awareness. Really big in Colorado. As we can tell, we have some winters where there's not much snow, and then a lot of winters where there's a heavy threat of avalanches. Leave no trace practices, again, very important. backpacking school. That one's going to kick off on June 1st of this year. I spoke with Jenny. She is the school director for backpacking school. She let me open up today, so we have 3 more openings for that. Usually, though, backpacking school does have a prerequisite. They want you to have taken the wilderness trekking school. If you have a lot of backpacking experience, but you want to bone up and kind of refresh, you can get in touch with Jenny. She has 3 openings. Out on the event on the calendar is listed her information, her email, and her cell phone number. Call her, have a chat with her. It is wonderful. And again, we have 3 openings: clothing and gear, backing and organizing, navigation. There'll be 3 classroom sessions, 1-day trip, 2 overnight trips. With the COVID protocol now opening up a little bit more, the classroom sessions, she's actually hoping that come June 1st that she'll be able to have those outside. If not, they will be within Mountaineering Center, and there'll be some social distancing. We still adhere to that here at the club. We want everybody to stay safe, but it has opened up and eased a little bit. As you can see, there's some of the topics that they do cover. Water filtration, that can get to be very important out in the backcountry if you've run out of water. You always want to make sure you have plenty of water with you. Animal encounters. Again, there are some prerequisites usually to this course. So if you think this is something that you can do, please just reach out to Jenny on that one. Technical climbing school. Well, we have a lot of people, as you can see, rock climbing, sport climbing, advanced anchors, the multi-pitch climbing, ice climbing. We have a lot of people that love to do ice climbing in the winter. A lot of people go down to Ouray and climb down there in the Box Canyon with the beautiful falls that freeze over and do the ice climbing down there. As you can see, there are some prerequisites to it. Wilderness trekking school tends to be one of the prerequisites that you'll see listed and mentioned most often. Day hiker school or the backpacking school, the one that Jenny is offering, or equivalent experience. The good news is any of the courses where you have the instructor or the trip leader listed, if you feel that you really are in a good place, that you have all this experience already, reach out to them, email them, call them, have a conversation with them, and you two can then decide between you if that is something that you are capable of doing. So again, if you want to do some climbing and stuff, we have all the technical climbing school courses to look at. Backcountry ski touring school. That will be coming in December of this year. 1 lecture and then 3 on-snow ski days. They are going to teach you about proper skis, gear, and clothing for the terrain and the conditions that you're wanting to ski in. How to pull. What are your downhill maneuvers? Making sure that you can stop. And as we all know, that's a pretty good thing to do. And also being able to stop without having it involve a tree. That's not too cool. Climbing maneuvers. You have a wonderful place that you do want to do some backcountry skiing, but you look at the hill and realize that you've got to get up that. Well, they're going to teach you how to sidestep, traverse, all sorts of different things to do that. Also, too, they're going to have you be a little bit aware of the terrain that you're in, as far as are you in avalanche country. Outdoor conservation, one of our most important things. Do we have, is Julie on the phone with us?
Yeah, I'm here, Mary.
There she is. All right, I didn't have the, I couldn't see you over there on the right side, Julie. Well, I'm going to introduce you to an incredible lady. She is Julie Mock. She is our director of the conservation. area. She does a lot of wonderful work throughout the state. We actually get blessed to get to see her once in a while in Golden when she's not busy taking care of this beautiful state of ours. She does a lot of volunteer programs too. So again, if conservation is something you'd love to do, but I'm going to quit talking, which I'm sure you guys are happy about, and introduce you. And this is Julie Mock.
Thanks, Mary. And thanks, everybody. Good to see you all, and welcome to the CMC in whatever form you end up engaging with the club. I'm Julie Mock. I'm the conservation director for the club. I'm based down in Salida, but we work statewide on advocacy and stewardship related to recreation and public lands. And Mary, mentioned that CMC has a long history, not only in recreating outdoors, but in conserving the peaks and wilderness areas and incredible landscapes in Colorado that we enjoy. And so that's what we do in the conservation department in a number of different ways. And I won't go into detail on everything tonight, but just wanted to give you a quick snapshot. We run trail crews, both professional paid staff that go out and do trail maintenance across the state. They'll be out this summer everywhere from northern Colorado in the Flat Tops Wilderness to southern Colorado in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains and out on the west slope in Ouray and near Grand Junction. So they're doing work all over the state, and we run a snow ranger program in the winter down in the Ouray Red Mountain Pass area. Folks have been out there, and they're really just focused on talking with people, educating folks about backcountry safety and avalanche safety. So we try to get as many people out on the ground doing work to promote our advocacy and stewardship. We've been working on some 14er access issues lately. Some of you may have heard that the DeCalibron 14ers, which are down in Park County, have been temporarily closed. And we're working really closely with the private landowners down there to make sure that those peaks open back up. Hopefully on June 1st is kind of the plan, so that we can enjoy the recreation up there, but also deal with some of the major issues that those landowners are facing with the increased use, the presence of trash and parking issues. And so we're working through that stuff with them to make sure we can maintain access while preserving kind of the natural resources and the natural beauty of those peaks. We work on wilderness legislation, among other kinds of policy and legislative work. There are a couple of big proposals to protect over 1 million acres of new wilderness and specially designated areas in Colorado. So we work on those things. We provide action alerts and information to our members and supporters. So if you're interested in getting engaged or writing to your legislators about conservation and recreation issues, engaging through the conservation department is a great way to kind of stay in tune with what's going on. We've got a place where you can sign up for our conservation e-newsletter, as well as those action alerts. That's online on our conservation page. And then the last program I'll plug really quickly is a neat one and an awesome way to volunteer and get involved in conservation work kind of on your own time and on an individual basis. I know even so with COVID, the group volunteer activities are somewhat limited. But with this mobile app, we've essentially designed a way for you as a recreationist to collect data while you're out hiking or mountain biking or climbing. And this is information that's really helpful for conservation and stewardship work. So you can report trail issues like downed trees or erosion. You can inventory campsites, or you can just count visitor use and do a parking lot assessment, or report the number of users you see out on the trail. All that information is super helpful for land managers and for stewardship groups like CMC to do conservation work more efficiently and effectively. And I'll put she beat me to it. We've got the link to the RIMS page in the chat box. So you can check it out. You don't have to be a CMC member. The app is totally free and available. So check out, there's an online training and it's super easy to get involved. So appreciate you having me here tonight. Feel free to throw any questions in the chat and I'll stick around and answer them. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Julie. Apologize, I didn't realize I was going a little bit longer here, so I apologize, but thank you, Julie. One of our really, really neat ladies that we have here, and one of the beautiful, wonderful staff of Colorado Mountain Club. Ascending Hike Series. We are kicking that off this summer again. Looking forward to doing that after last year, 2020, not being able to do that. So you say, you know what, I would really like to summit a 14er. As you can see down there that you have that as your goal. You say that's your goal. Well, we start you out with a lot easier hike, and you progress to more difficult hikes with the goal in mind that you're going to summit a 14er sometime in September, or if the weather is good enough that you might do it in October. You will go to the CMC calendar where we were out there on the calendar, and in the search box, you just type in Ascending Hikes, and that will take you to some of the available hikes. They are popular. They will fill up quickly. So if you are interested in that, if you've joined the club or you are joining the club, you will want to take a look at that and get signed up. It allows members to explore new trails throughout the Front Range. It is one of those that tends to be really popular too. Check us out. We're almost done. Thanks, guys, for hanging in there with me. I apologize. I was getting mouthy and wordy there and long in the tooth here. Check us out. We're out on Facebook. The Trailblazers, they have their own Facebook page. Instagram, we're out there. We're on Twitter. So please check us out, and we would love to have you. What questions do you have? I know Claire is busy answering all the questions over there in the chat box. So if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat box. Hopefully Claire's gotten everything answered for you. I see the question, will the Cherry Creek Gear Check info be posted on the website? It's already out there. If you go out and look on the calendar, I believe it's the last week of May. I want to say the 25th or 26th, around then. But if you go out there and just take a look, type in the search box backpacking, and you'll get up some of the options. Again, if you look at the calendar, you can leave it in calendar view. Otherwise, you can do list view. And if you pull up the last week of May, you should see some of the Gear Check stuff come up there and be able to look in there to see what that is. Again, the backpacking section has a $20 separate fee. Photo has a $20 annual fee. Rocky Mountain Over the Hill Gang has a $15 annual fee. But again, wonderful, wonderful sections to be in also. So thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. I really appreciate it. Claire, my assistant, wonderful chat lady there, her email is clairejoseph@cmc.org. I'm Mary Bradley at cmc.org. We will be back. We are working remotely, but we are in the office about once or twice a week. But we will be back in the office, opening up the office. We are thinking toward the 2nd to 3rd week in June. So if at that point in time you'd like to come see us, we'd love to have you. But in the meantime, we are just an email or phone call away. So again, thank you so much for attending tonight. We really, really appreciate it.